Hello, viewers. Welcome back to Sex in the Temple. You're welcome to season 2. It's going to be amazing. Today with me, I have Professor Patrick Amoateng from the University of Ghana, Legon. He's also a youth minister at the Crossroad Community Church located in Hachu. Prof, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Monique, and thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure. Yeah. So today we're looking at healthy sexual relationships. Yeah. So we go straight to the topic. How do you define a healthy sexual relationship?
Yeah, so a healthy sexual relationship, if you want to define it, you have to look at what makes the term. So there's sexual relationship, which must be healthy. So you'd have to understand what healthy means.
Okay.
And then, of course, we know the sex there is talking about sexual intercourse. And then the relationship is having, an established acceptance of being with someone exclusively.
Okay.
Right. So these are the various components of the term. And there are definitions that are defined, given by WHO, which is the World Health Organization. They define health as a state of physical, emotional, mental, and social well-being, and not just the absence of disease or infirmity.
Okay.
And so if you want to bring this to sexual health, then it means that in sexuality, in expressing sexuality or sex or having sex, it must be, physically, emotionally, and socially benefit or have like some positive effect on the person who is having it. So your social, physical, emotional well-being in relation to sex. Right. Okay. So that defines the various components, and then putting them together. It's so if you want to look at healthy sexual relationship, it must be a relationship between two people.
Okay. Does one's lifestyle affect their sexual relationship?
Yes. So it's all about time, having time enough for your sex life. It must be planned. And usually if you have things taken away that time that you spend with your partner sexually, then that is affecting your sexual relationship. So pregnancy, children, they are good, part of, marriage relationships. But they sometimes end up taking a lot of the attention with couples from the sexual act, which binds them together. And so these are certain things that can keep, people and affect their sexual life. But in themselves, they are not bad. Okay. So it's just about prioritizing sex also as part of the things that you need to do aside taking care of your children or giving birth. Yeah. And then there are lifestyle conditions that can affect sexual performance, both in male and female.
Okay.
So anything like maybe alcohol and tobacco can also affect sexual life. And then, so if there's obesity, for example, can also affect sexual life. So all these ones can be dealt with to be able to improve sexual life in a relationship. Yeah.
So do we come to a place where we can say this is an healthy sexual relationship or yes, healthy sexual life?
Yeah, so the unhealthy sexual lives are, or unhealthy sexual relationships, it means that there is no well-being in terms of sexuality in that particular relationship. So the person is not safe sexually, or so in that aspect it could be physical.
Okay.
So for example, the person may have maybe contract sexually transmitted diseases from a sexual act in that relationship. That one, if there are certain things that will expose the other partner to getting sexually transmitted diseases, then that particular sexual relationship is unhealthy.
Okay.
So if you have couples where there's cheating, the man going out and coming in and not taking good care of himself, not even preventing any sexually transmitted disease, that relationship sexually is unhealthy.
Okay.
Then where there's abuse, and then it could be verbal, it could be physical abuse, and there are lack of consent when it has to do with sex, that particular sexual relationship is unhealthy.
Okay.
Okay, so those, and then also when the fear of perhaps maybe getting pregnant, comes in a relationship. It could even be married. Even in married relationships, people want to space their children. They are concerned about, trying to avoid pregnancy. All this the stress around it and the whole process could even be, can affect their relationship and make it unhealthy. So because of that, the woman doesn't even want to have sex at certain times, and the other person feels dissatisfied. So that in itself is an unhealthy relationship. So if all these physical things affect the mental, well-being of the person involved, then it moves beyond just physical to being psychological or psychosocial. So there are instances where all these can lead to the other person feel unwanted, or the feeling of not being, valued in that particular relationship can lead the person to maybe depression, anxiety-related conditions. Yeah. So when all of those happen, then they fuel they would also, in a way, pull the spouse further away from having a satisfied sexual life, because with anxiety and depression coming in, the person will not even have the desire for sex in the first place. Yeah. So when all these issues are happening, then they make the relationship sexually unhealthy.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Can we talk about the elements of healthy sexual relationships?
Okay, so with sexual relationships, there should be, for it to be healthy, there must be, first of all, open communication.
Okay.
There must be mutual consent.
Okay.
There must be emotional, stability.
Okay.
There must also be physical satisfaction.
Okay.
And there must be protection of the person's sexual health.
Okay.
So these are the main, components or elements of a healthy sexual relationship. I can go through them one after the other.
Let's go through them. Yeah.
A particular chart which talks about characteristics of sexually healthy adults from one Hartzell and Associates in 2010. So the elements that I've mentioned, there are certain things. So for example, in communication, there is communication. Communicate respectfully with your spouse about your desire to have sex and not to have sex. So even the aspect of when to have sex and when not to have it must be effectively communicated. So in a healthy sexual relationship, that openness should be available. And then also there must be a space where the partner can openly communicate with the other partner on sexual preferences, which are, of course, healthy. So the other person should be able to tell you that, oh, I would want to do this. The two partners should be able to discuss this and understand whether they want to go that way or not, whether it's going to help individually or not. So all this is important in a healthy sexual relationship, there must be open communication.
So you don't come and impose, you discuss.
Yes.
And you agree.
Yes, you
Okay.
discuss.
Okay.
You discuss, and yeah, so that is very, very important.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the other aspect is about consent. Consent. So sexual acts must be consensual.
Even within marriage.
Even within marriage, yes, exactly. So the person has a right to get to a point and say, I don't want it anymore. And the other partner should respect that. So when there is, this cannot be said, I cannot say no to my husband, then that particular relationship is unhealthy. There must be the chance for the other partner to say, I want or I don't want.
And you have to respect
Yes.
their
And
decision.
yes. So there must be an open understanding and consent for sex.
Okay.
It must be a two-way thing. You know, it must be two-way. So the other partner is interested and wants to have sex. You also want it, and then the two of you are
On the same page.
Yes. So, but in our setting, it is not. It's not easily done because in most cases, sex is seen as for the men. So mostly the women are doing it because they want to please their partners.
So even if you're
And
not
so
comfortable,
even when they're not comfortable, you're not able to talk about it. In a healthy sexual relationship, there must be mutual consent when it comes to sex.
okay.
Then another aspect is having self-esteem and self-worth. So in a healthy sexual relationship, each person should appreciate their own body. This is very much even for males as well as for females. You know, as you age, of course, at a time will start coming.
Protruding.
Exactly, and then
the skin folding underneath the eyes.
yes, and then the women as well, when they have children, you know, their stomach would change. But they should be able to accept themselves for who they are. And the other person should also accept it. So if there is no self-worth in the relationship, then that is an unhealthy one. And then also, they should be sensually aware and able to stay conscious in their own bodies and be conscious about it and be okay with it. And then they should be able to allow themselves to be touched by the other partner without feeling shame or disgust.
Okay.
So that is, and then also have the capacity to accept not nurturing from the other partner. So all these are parts of the self, wealth and self-esteem. Then there should also be respect.
Okay.
In the sexual relationship. So they should respect each other's boundaries, and then also respect each other's values and preferences. So even though in the sexual act, one person may want a particular thing, right? The other person may say, I don't want this thing, I don't want it. The other partner may have all the good intentions for that act to be done, yet the other person would not want that. So you have to respect the other person and accept it and find ways and means to, achieve the same thing. So an example can be maybe some women will not want oral sex, for example. They won't want it. They don't want to do it on the man, or they don't want the man to do it on them. But then you realize that for the woman to also, and probably most women, as we know, would not orgasm by penetrative sex. So you need to have another way to be able to, pleasure the woman.
Other than the
oral sex.
Okay.
So once the person doesn't want it, you can talk and talk and talk. But if the person doesn't want, you have to respect that and find another way to achieve the same thing. rather than necessarily doing what exactly the person wants to be done. So that is very, very important. And then also emotional intimacy is very important. I always use this example when it comes to this. When in Genesis, when God was defining marriage, it says that a man will leave his father and mother and cleave with his wife, and the two become one flesh. So there are three elements there. The first is the leaving. The second is the cleaving. And the third is the one flesh. They are interconnected. So the leaving is the relationship. The fact that you have a relationship with one person. And that is the public and legal, framework when it comes to marriage. So they need to be, you need to be married. You need to have a license. As somebody say, you need license for everything. So
to drive, so you need license.
You need license to to have a healthy sexual relationship. Yeah. So I always ask people who are into any relationship, do you have a license?
No, they are illegal drivers.
They are illegal drivers.
So we need to put the police
exactly.
on them.
So that is important.
Yeah.
And then the cleaving is the intimacy. Okay. So you need to be emotionally connected to one another. You should know when your spouse is not happy. It shouldn't be rocket science. You should get so connected to each other that you would know when she's not happy. So even during a sexual act, you should be able to decipher and see that this is not helping the woman. The woman is in pain. Yeah. Sometimes some men would probably think that the pain is part of the sexual, ecstasy. But sometimes it's not. When you finish the act and she tells you how bruised she is, then you will know that you thought she was happy, but she wasn't. Yeah. And it happens a lot in several sexual relationships, even among married couples. So it is important to know the person. And the women, they are more emotional. When it comes to sex, you need to satisfy that emotional part. If you don't, then the sex will be just for an obligation that she needs to perform. Yeah. So the emotional intimacy is very important. And when that happens, the sex also becomes very good. Okay. So they are all connected. The one flesh is the sexual act. So here, this is a relationship which is licensed. And then they are bonded. They are intimate with each other. Yeah. Intimacy also relates with the communication, and then the mutual consent, and then respect for one another. And the emotional. And then the last part is the physical, which is the one flesh. Yeah. So with the one flesh, that is the physical satisfaction. It should be a goal for every sexual act to be beneficial to the two partners involved. Okay. That should be a goal for every sexual act. Yeah. If both partners, plan this and make it a goal, then they are in a healthy sexual relationship. Yeah. And the last one is more or less like protecting their sexual health. So that is very important. You need to do things that are sexually healthy. Sexually healthy. There could be several phases to this. Practicing safe sex, and then doing regular checkups to be sure that you are healthy as a whole, and then with the sex as well. Wow. So it must be protective. And so all these components are what is required for a healthy sexual relationship. And these are the elements. So the first is communication. It should be open. There should be mutual consent for sex. You can't just have it because you are up. There must be an agreement.
The two of you are on the same page.
Exactly.
And you agree on what activity. And even during the activity, if you don't feel okay.
You can, and when the person decides that I don't want it, you should respect it and then end it. It is difficult.
Yeah.
But it is all showing of love. If you love the other person and at a particular point the person feels whatever is happening is harmful, and so let's end it. Just stop it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So on the consent bit, if I consented yesterday and after the experience I don't want it anymore, you don't have to assume that because I did it yesterday, I'm going to do it today. Do you have to ask me again if we're on the same page with you on that? Because sometimes one consented and everything, they think, oh, it's okay, it's fine.
Yeah, so I think there's communication. There should be sexual communication.
Yeah.
So once it is not just very static that, oh, honey, I want us to have sex. It may seem
It looks odd.
yeah, it is really odd. So there must be other forms of communication, non-verbal communication, when you want to initiate sex. And like I mentioned the other time, you start in the morning.
Yeah.
So it should be something that you think about. Of course, there are others that are, spontaneous.
Yeah.
And those ones too are nice, But even that with the spontaneous, you should have done something at the beginning to be able to merit a good spontaneous, sex.
Yeah, okay.
It should have started from somewhere. If all the other elements, the respect, the
consent,
intimacy, the emotional intimacy is there, then the sexual act would be pleasurable. I mean, it would fall in place.
Yeah.
But if the lady is abused, if she has no say in your relationship, she cannot even communicate her needs and her wants to you as a partner, and you want the act, it will be very obligatory. And most married women will do that, So it's important that couples have a way to communicate that they want to have sex. So the mutual consent, yes, it's not, even during the process, you start, and then the way you are touching her breast, and you are giving her pain, and then she gets to a point she's tired and fed up, and she wants to stop. Don't force your way. Yes, so that is where the mutual consent comes in.
Every step of the way until you
yes,
finish
every
the
step
activity,
of the way until the activity ends.
She has to agree to that.
Yes, and you also have to agree. If there's a point you don't want it,
you say,
and then you say no, you should say it in a nice way, and she should respect that, or he should also respect that.
Wow.
So the ability to understand and appreciate and accept and know is when there is very good mutual consent in that particular relationship.
Yeah. Wow. So how can couples keep their sex life strong?
So the first thing is that couples should not compare themselves, their partners, with anyone. So the partners should feel, that I'm the best that you've had.
Okay.
When there are stages where you are my second choice, or I could have something better, the person will always feel second rated and wouldn't be able to enjoy sex or even the relationship. So you should be able to make your partner, yes, let her know that she is the best you have and you are not going anywhere else.
Okay.
So never compare. And then also seek help when you need to. If you have challenges in your sexual relationship, there is always pain whenever there's sex between you and your husband. You don't enjoy sex with your husband. There is help. So you must seek for that. That way, then you are going to keep yourself life strong, because you find solutions and then you make it better.
Yeah.
So that is very important.
Yeah.
The other thing is that you should always show interest in the other person. So it shouldn't be just only when you want to have sex. I mean, I have had instances where my wife has told me, It's not only when you want to make love that you tell me you love me.
Yeah,
You should tell me you love me even when there is no sexual intention. You should kiss me when you don't even intend to have sex with me.
add foot massage.
You should hug me
Body massage.
even when you don't intend
massage,
to. Exactly.
yes. Neck massage.
But with no intention.
With no intention.
Yes.
That sounds good.
So I think
I'll
if
go
we
for
can.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that is it. And if you want to improve your sex life also, you must let the other partner know
Yes.
that there's something that is wrong with our sex life. Let's do it together.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can watch YouTube videos to be able to learn something.
Yes.
I mean, I was telling you another time about the fact that maybe sometimes your wife would tell you that she feels pain when you suck her breast, for example.
Yeah.
And then you would have to learn how to do it.
Gentle.
So sometimes you have to even more or less like let her teach you
Yeah.
how to do it. You can also learn from the internet. You don't necessarily have to watch videos, which you don't have to watch a porn.
Yeah.
There can be, self-taught videos which are not pornographic.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they can show you how to do something properly. So, for example, if you don't know how to suck your lady's breast, you can learn together.
If you don't know how to kiss,
You don't know how to kiss, you can learn together.
Yeah.
So most of these acts can even make you, come together and become more intimate. And then also, sometimes you can move, beyond your comfort zone. You should also be ready to explore new things together.
Yeah.
And this is together.
Yes, not
So
just
not
you.
alone.
For your own
For
satisfaction.
your satisfaction,
It has
yes.
to be for both of you.
Yes, for the both of you. So probably there's something you want to do together.
Yes.
And sometimes it may be difficult.
Yeah.
There are certain things that it will not come so easily. So for example, there are some sexual positions that you may have to learn together with your partner and exploring, how how she would like it. You do it together and you learn together.
Yeah.
I always say this, that sex is an act. It's an art in addition to being an act. So you can put spice it up a bit by not necessarily doing the same thing over and over and over and over. Learn to be creative.
Yes.
Even in your sex life. Yes.
I love the creativity.
Bring some improvement. You haven't done candle dinner before. Do one.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
let her feel good.
That's
Give her a
thoughtful.
massage.
Yeah, that's
Maybe go
thoughtful.
for couple massage, together. Go for a vacation for once.
Change the
Change
location.
exactly. So try to explore just beyond your comfort zones.
Yeah.
Not every day on the bed in the same way, the same bed, the same
You need to
perfume.
go to the hotel.
One day.
Maybe replace the bed with a table. That works as
Yeah.
well.
All right.
They
So
told
I
me.
think if we are able to do this, then we can improve our sex life.
Yes.
And of course, do it in a healthy manner.
Yes.
Then the sexual relationship will be healthy.
Oh, that's so interesting. But unfortunately, we have to end this discussion here. What I got from this is that you communicate, you gain consent, be on the same page with your partner, respect the boundaries of your partner, and be intentional. I love the bit that you talk about the candle. I love the bit that you talk about the foot massage and the special treat vacation. Take care. Be intentional. It's a blessing. Healthy sexual life makes a whole difference. There's so many benefits. We didn't get to the benefits of boosting your immunity, of taking away your depression, of making you glow. Sex is a gift. This is Sex in the Temple, and my name is Mike. Thank you.